Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're staring at the Ontario real estate market right now and just feeling completely hopelessly priced out, I hear you. It's incredibly tough out there. And I really want to start by just validating exactly how you feel. You're not crazy, right? And you aren't necessarily doing anything wrong. The market has shifted in these massive ways that make the dream of homeownership feel like, I don't know, an exclusive club that permanently locked its doors. But today, we're going to look at the hard data. We're going to tear down some seriously outdated myths and show you exactly how everyday people are actively breaking into this exact same market for literally half the monthly cost. Okay, let's dive right into this.
Think about the advice you've been fed your entire life. It usually goes a little something like this. Work hard, save every penny, stay out of trouble, and you'll easily buy your first home by the time you hit 30. Right? I mean, that's exactly what our parents did. But here is the harsh reality we just have to accept. That old rule book, it is mathematically dead in today's housing market. Following that traditional script today isn't just hard. For most of us, it's virtually impossible.
The script hasn't just flipped, it's been completely rewritten. 40. As of 2024, the median age of a first-time homebuyer in Ontario has hit 40 years old for the very first time. Let that sink in. We've literally reached a point where buying your first home is closer to getting your senior's discount than it is to getting your driver's license. The odds feel totally stacked against you because, honestly, under the traditional model, they absolutely are.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover 1. The broken housing dream, 2. Why traditional buying fails, 3. The hidden income strategy, 4. Detached home versus condo, 5. Real buyer success stories, and finally, 6. Your next steps. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The broken housing dream.
So if you've been doing everything right, saving, working hard, budgeting, and you still feel like you're somehow falling behind, it's not your fault. It's because of this brutal moving goalpost. Okay, let's say it's 2015. You're 25 years old. You want to buy a $500,000 home in 5 years, which needs a 5% down payment. So you diligently put away $25,000. You did it. But wait, it's now 2020. That exact same home, it now costs $800,000, and your down payment requirement just jumped to $40,000. So despite perfectly executing your 5-year plan, you're suddenly stuck 15 grand short. Your hard-earned savings simply cannot outpace the rising cost of the asset itself. Now, the government obviously knows this is happening, and they've tried to help. As a first-time home buyer, you do get some sweeteners working in your favor. We're talking a $4,000 land transfer tax rebate, a $10,000 closing costs tax credit. You've got the incredible $40,000 tax-free first home savings account, or you can even withdraw up to $60,000 tax-free from your RRSP. Oh, and there are HST rebates for new builds too. And hey, these are all really helpful tools. Absolutely use them. But make no mistake here, they are just Band-Aids. Why? Well, because since the 2008 financial crisis, home prices in Canada have grown 60% faster than incomes. Sweeteners just do not fix that math.
Section 2. Why traditional buying fails.
Let's break down the actual real-world costs here. Say we're looking at a highly desirable $700,000 home on the Hamilton Mountain. Using the traditional way, you don't need 20% down, but you still need about $45,000 for the down payment and another $9 grand for closing costs. But here's the absolute kicker. When you add up your mortgage, property taxes, insurance, utilities, and maintenance, your estimated monthly budget balloons to a massive $4,485 a month.
Yeah.
But what does a $4,485 monthly payment actually mean for your career? Well, to legally qualify for that carrying cost, assuming you have just a modest $400 a month in other debt, like a car or student loan, you need an annual salary of $133,000. And let me just twist the knife a bit here. According to Statistics Canada, if you're between 30 and 34 years old, a $133,000 salary puts you in the 98th percentile of earners. The traditional way literally demands you be in the top 2% of income earners just to buy a starter home. It's totally broken.
Section 3. The hidden income strategy.
Now, this is the powerful, outside-the-box strategy that your run-of-the-mill bank won't advertise to you unless you know exactly what to ask. What if, instead of paying that massive $4,485 a month, you could secure a home in that exact same market for $2,610 a month? We're talking about dropping your required monthly payment by almost half. You get to keep way more of your money, and suddenly, home ownership isn't just locked away for the top 2%. So, how exactly does this work? It's all about subsidizing your mortgage with rental income. Basically, instead of buying a standard single-family home, you purchase a turnkey legal duplex.
Let's say it costs slightly more, maybe around $725,000. You live in the spacious 3-bedroom upper unit, and you rent out the 2-bedroom basement unit. That basement generates, say, $2,000 a month in rental income. Boom. That $2,000 goes directly against your carrying costs, slashing your out-of-pocket monthly budget down to roughly $2,610.
But here is the absolute magic of this strategy when it comes to dealing with the banks. Relying purely on your personal salary fails for most of us. But with this hidden strategy, the bank will actually use about 80% of the rental income you're generating and apply it to offset your monthly housing obligations during their stress test. They recognize that income, which means you can qualify for a significantly higher purchase price than your salary alone would ever permit.
Because the bank is using that rental income to offset your debt ratios, the required annual salary to buy this home plummets. It drops from $133,000 all the way down to a much more attainable $92,000. You don't need to be in the 98th percentile of earners anymore. You just need to buy smarter.
Section 4, detached home versus condo. You know, when young buyers realize they can't swing a $133,000 salary, they usually feel backed into a corner, forced to settle for a tiny box in the sky. But let's look at these 3 scenarios side by side. Option 1, the traditional detached home. That's going to cost you $4,485 a month. Option 2, the hidden strategy. Buying the duplex and renting the basement cost you $2,610 out of pocket. Option 3, buying a $400,000 condo. Between the mortgage, taxes, and those pesky condo fees, that condo will cost you $2,826 a month. Just let that sink in for a second. The math is completely absurd. Buying a $400,000 condo with constantly rising monthly fees actually costs you $216 more out of pocket every single month than owning a $725,000 detached duplex where you're collecting rent. Plus, think about it. With the duplex, you actually own the land, which is a scarce asset, and you control the building's future, unlike a condo where you're totally at the mercy of whatever a condo board decides.
Section 5, real buyer success stories. Look, this isn't just some fancy theory on a spreadsheet. Take Rashad, for example. At just 24 years old, he and his girlfriend knew they didn't want to fall into the condo trap. They wanted genuine, scarce asset wealth. So they bought a turnkey legal duplex for $750,000. They rent the basement out for $2,100 a month, which means their actual monthly living costs is only $1,619. Guys, they are 24, owning a detached, hard asset, and paying less per month than most people pay in rent. That's incredible.
And check out this even more aggressive example. This is a 28-year-old solo investor. She bought a duplex in St. Catharines for $450,000. She put down a 10% down payment to lower her carrying costs right off the bat. After renting out her basement unit for $2,000 a month, her out-of-pocket living expenses dropped to an unbelievable $360 a month. Just imagine what you could do, what you could save or invest if your housing costs were literally $360 a month.
Section 6, your next steps.
All right, it's time to move from just feeling inspired to actually taking concrete action. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. Being a landlord, that's too complex. It's a massive headache. What if I get a bad tenant? Honestly, it's a totally valid and super common fear. But the truth is, being a landlord today is nothing like it was 20 years ago. When you use modern, data-driven tenant screening tools, finding high-quality tenants is incredibly streamlined. And more importantly, having an expert team by your side, people who have literally done this thousands of times, completely tips the scales of success in your favor. You do not have to figure it all out alone.
Which is exactly why I want you to take action right now. Grab your phone and scan the keyword code. This is going to give you access to a completely free, absolutely zero commitment 30-minute strategy session. You'll sit down with the pros who have already helped hundreds of first-time buyers implement this exact strategy. They'll look at your specific income, show you real properties that are available right now, and basically build a structured step-by-step plan to get you into a home.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. The traditional housing market is broken. And honestly, waiting around for it to magically fix itself, that's a losing strategy. The rules have officially changed. So the question is, will you just keep waiting on the sidelines, or will you change the way you play the game and actually take ownership of your financial future today? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, I highly encourage you to scan that code and start your journey.